Water, a natural resource. Learning objectives. Water. Water as a natural resource. Importance of water. Sources of water. Drought. Floods. Different states of water. Change of state. Water cycle. Lightning and thunder. Electric charge in clouds. Water conservation. Rainwater harvesting. Water. Water is the commonmost substance found on the earth. We use water every day for a number of purposes: drinking, bathing, cleaning, washing, cooking, gardening, etc. It is largely used in industry as well. But as it is available everywhere, we ignore its importance. We only realize its usefulness when it becomes scarce. Water as a natural resource. Substances that nature provides to the earth for supporting life existing on it are called natural resources. Natural resources are classified as I. Inexhaustible resources. 2. Exhaustible resources. I. Inexhaustible resources, substances that are found in nature in an unlimited quantity and are not likely to be exhausted by man's activities. Air, water and sun's energy are inexhaustible resources. 2. Exhaustible resources, substances that are found in limited quantities in nature and are likely to be exhausted by man's activities. Coal, petroleum, minerals, forests, wildlife and soil. Exhaustible resources may be of two types. A. Renewable resources. B. Non-renewable resources. A. Renewable resources. Renewable resources are those substances which can be recycled and replaced. Soil, water, plants and animals are renewable resources. Soil, water, plant, animal. B. Non-renewable resources. Non-renewable resources are those which once used up cannot be replaced or recycled. Coal, petroleum and minerals are examples of non-renewable resources. Coal, petroleum. As you know that 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered with water. Water is the habitat of a large variety of plants and animals. All plants and animals contain different amount of water in them. The human body contains about 70% of water by weight, while an elephant has about 80% of water. Similarly, tomato contains about 90% of water, while a coconut tree has 60% of water by weight. In the world, over 70% of the Earth's surface is water. Out of the total water, 97% is oceans and the remaining 3% is fresh water. Fresh water is found in rivers, lakes, streams and ponds. The ocean water is salty and unfit for human use. 2% of the total water is locked in glaciers and ice caps. Half of the remaining 1% is under the ground. 0.02% of 1% is in river and lakes. Sea, glacier, lake, river. Importance of water. As you know, water is an important medium for the activities of living organisms. All living organisms contain 70 to 90% water in their bodies. It is useful in many ways. 1. Every living organism needs various nutrients to grow and to work. Water dissolves these nutrients and carries them to all parts of the body. 2. Water helps to regulate body temperature through evaporation and sweating. 3. Water helps the body by carrying waste products out of it. 4. Water is used for drinking and cooking purposes. 5. It is also used for daily activities such as washing and bathing. 6. Plants also need water because seed cannot germinate and grow without water. 7. In plants, water also carries nutrients to the leaves via the stem and the branches. 8. Green leaves prepare food using this nutrient-rich water along with carbon dioxide that they absorb from the air and sunlight. This process is called photosynthesis. 9. Water is also used in industry as a medium for preparing a variety of chemicals. 10. It is used in agriculture for irrigation of the fields. 11. Flowing water is also used for generating electricity. Let us perform an activity to find the percentage of water in tomatoes. Sci facts: if a person's body loses about 20% of its water, the person may die painfully. An adult must take 2.4 liters of water every day. Activity 15.1. Take about 1 kilogram of tomatoes, weigh them on a kitchen scale. Cut the tomatoes into 2 pieces and leave them for drying under the sun for 2 days. What do you observe? You will notice that tomatoes are completely dried up. This is because the water present in the tomatoes evaporates. Now, again weigh the tomatoes. You will find the weight of tomatoes has reduced. This activity shows that tomatoes contain water. Sources of water. Now you have understand that water plays an important role in the life of living organisms. The water that we use for various purposes is obtained from several sources. 1. Underground water. 2. Surface water. 1. Underground water. The water that runs on the surface forms streams and rivers. Some of it seeps through the soil into the non-porous rocks below the surface of the earth. This is called groundwater or underground water. The level of groundwater is called water table. We can obtain groundwater by digging wells and through hand pumps. Tube wells are bored for irrigation during dry months of the year. Groundwater. Hand pump. Tube well. The groundwater may run along the surface of the non-porous rocks and come out in the form of springs through any opening in the earth. 2. Surface water. Surface water is present on the surface of the earth. It is of 3 types. I. Rainwater. 2. Rivers. 3. Ocean or sea water. I. Rainwater. Rain is the chief source of water. It is generally said that all water, fresh and drinkable, comes from rain. We get rain only for a few months in whole year. This rainwater gets collected in ponds and lakes. During the time when there is no rain, we depend on these lakes and ponds. Moreover, there are only a few natural lakes in our country. So, some artificial lakes have also been developed. 2. Rivers. Rivers are yet another chief source of water. Most of the rainwater flows into rivers. Rivers also get water by melting of snowy mountains. Some rivers flow all the year round as the Ganga and the Brahmaputra in our country. To reap maximum use of river water, dams have been built on the rivers to ensure proper use of water. The water stored in dams can be used for various purposes. Lake. River. Dam. The water from the dams is supplied through canals to the agricultural fields to irrigate the crops. Water from these lakes is cleaned and supplied to the cities and towns through pipeline. The water from dams is also utilized by various industries. In some dams, water falling from a height is used to generate electricity. Electricity generated by water is called hydroelectricity. 3. Ocean or sea water. Sea is a natural reservoir of water with millions and millions of liters of water stored in it. Rivers carry all types of impurities and dissolved salts along with them. It is salty due to the presence of salts in large quantities. Hence, sea water is not fit for drinking as well as home use. Now let us study about the consequences of excess or less rainfall. Rainy season brings rain with it. What would happen if it does not rain for a year or more at a place? It would result in a drought. See. Sci facts: in very cold regions of the earth around the poles, the ocean waters are in the form of ice. Moreover, huge icebergs from these regions is carried safely to very hot desert regions for domestic purpose. But it has to be fed with necessary salts for being drinkable. Drought. You have already studied that rain is the main source of water. Rainwater gets collected in lakes and rivers. Some passes through the soil and we obtain this water from the wells. But sometimes the rain may fail during the monsoons in some areas of the country. This can lead to an unusual scarcity of rain, causing a serious hydrological imbalance. Water supply reservoirs get empty, wells dry up and crops get damaged. Such a condition is called a drought. In our country, some areas of states such as Rajasthan, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh are especially prone to drought. Shortage of water during drought affects all of us. The effects are drought, fall in production, especially industries of dairy, timber and fishery. Crops cannot be grown. They dry up and availability of food decrease. Erosion of soil by wind takes place. Loss of life in all forms due to starvation. Famine conditions develop. Acute water crisis. Spread of diseases. Thus, drought affects the humans, animals and plants. Although drought cannot be reliably predicted, certain precautions can be taken in drought-prone areas. Causes of drought. The main causes of droughts are absence of rains for a long period, deforestation, lack of vegetation, soil erosion, global warming, destruction of natural resources, control of drought, increased deforestation programs, rainwater harvesting, implementation of dry farming irrigation techniques, introduction of recycling of water, construction of water reservoir and digging of wells, limitation on human settlements in drought-prone areas. Floods. You would have listened about the floods occurring in some areas of India. Can you tell about the problems faced by the people living in these areas? How does it occur? In most parts of India, it rains continuously. Heavy rains may lead to rise in the level of water in rivers, lakes and ponds. This water flows into the nearby land, causing floods. The flow of water can be very strong, damaging crops, domestic animals, property and human life. Heavy floods bring about erosion of soil from the fields, making it barren and infertile. High-velocity currents increase flood damages. Prolonged high floods delay traffic and interfere with drainage and economic use of lands. You may have also noticed earthworms coming out of soil in rainy season. Floods. Can you tell its reason? As you know, soil is generally filled with both air and water. During rains, the soil gets too much of water and the air in the soil comes out of it. Due to lack of air, organisms living in the soil cannot breathe. So, organisms like snakes, rats, earthworms living inside it, come out of the soil. Causes of floods. Floods are caused by natural as well as human factors. Natural factors leading to floods are prolonged high-intensity rainfalls, meandering courses of rivers, break in slopes and long profile of rivers, blockage in the free flow of river water. Some of the human activities causing floods are building activities, diversion of river courses, construction of bridges, barrages and reservoirs, change in land use, deforestation, control of floods, avoid inhabitation on the slopes, at riversides and sides of gorges, restoring vegetation and instituting efficient method of soil management and conservation, building dwelling units at least 250 meters away from the coast or river bank. Different states of water. Water exists in 3 states, i.e., solid, liquid and gaseous state. Ice is water in the solid state. Water exists in solid state as snow, frost, sleet, hail, etc. When the snow gets compact, it is called ice. In liquid state, most of water occurs as river, lakes, seas and oceans. In the gaseous state, water exists as water vapor in the air. Greenland, water exists in 3 states. Change of state. The state of water can be changed by changing the temperature, i.e. by heating or cooling. Water freezes to form ice. When you keep water in the refrigerator at 0 degrees Celsius, it gets converted into ice. This is known as freezing of water. Ice tray. Ice melts to form liquid water. Keep few ice cubes in a dish outside the refrigerator. It gets converted into liquid form at 0 degrees Celsius temperature. When ice is heated, it melts to form water. This is known as melting of ice. Thus, the freezing point and melting point are 0 degrees Celsius. Melting ice. Water evaporates to form water vapor. When you heat the water, it converts to form water vapor, a gas. This is known as evaporation. Water starts boiling at 100 degrees Celsius. This is known as the boiling point. Water vapor condenses to form water. Take a clean and dry glass tumbler. Place few ice cubes inside the glass tumbler. Keep it for some time on a table. You will notice that outside of the tumbler becomes misty and finally droplets of water appear on it. It is because water evaporates into the air. It is in the form of a gas. You cannot see it. But as it rises, the gas begins to cool down. When it is cool enough, it changes from gas into liquid form. This process is called condensation. The change of state of water with temperature can be summarized as follows. Condensation of water vapor. Ice, solids. Melting, freezing. Water, liquid. Evaporation, condensation. Steam, gas. Water cycle. The water cycle is the way the earth uses and recycles water. It's controlled by the sun, which produces energy in the form of heat. This heat energy causes the water in the world's oceans, lakes, and even puddles in your backyard to heat up and evaporate. When water is heated, it changes from a liquid to a gas. This gas is called water vapor, and the process is called evaporation. When plants give off water vapor, it's called transpiration. When water evaporates, it rises into the cooler air, collects, and forms clouds. There, the water vapor molecules cool down and change back into liquid water. This is called condensation, water cycle. Transpiration from plant. Groundwater. Evaporation from oceans, lakes and streams. Condensation. Precipitation, surface runoff. As more and more water vapor cools into the clouds, the water droplets that form the clouds become larger and larger. These droplets get so big that the swirling winds in the atmosphere can no longer hold them up. The droplets fall from the sky. The falling, condensed water molecules, which come down as rain, snow, sleet, or hail depending on conditions in the atmosphere, is known as precipitation. When water falls on the earth, the water seeps into the soil because of the force of gravity. This seeping is called infiltration, or the water flows over the land and into bodies of water, such as rivers and lakes. Most of this precipitation falls in either coastal areas or in elevations high up in the mountains. Some of the water that falls in high elevations becomes runoff water, which is water that runs over the ground to lower elevations and forms rivers, lakes and valleys. Lightning and thunder. During rainy season, you must have seen flash of light in clouds. This flash of light is often followed by thunder of clouds. But you may have noticed that lightning is seen first and then the thunder is heard after a few seconds. Can you tell its reason? You have read in previous chapter that light travels in air at a speed of 3 lakhs kilometers per second and sound does not travel with equal speed. Therefore, we can see the flash of lightning much before we can hear the thunder. Lightning flash. Why do lightning and thunder occur? Lightning and thunder are due to the production of very large amount of charges on the clouds. During a storm, if the air moves very rapidly in the sky, extremely large electric charges are produced. Since the air hits against the clouds very rapidly, a large force of friction is created which charges the clouds with electric charges. The smaller water particles or droplets in the clouds usually acquire a positive charge on them. The larger or heavier droplets become negatively charged. Air currents then push the positively charged droplets upwards while the negatively charged droplets stay down. Lightning and thunder. Electric charge in clouds. The positive and negative charges in the clouds exert a strong force of attraction on one another. The air between them loses its insulation and the charges tend to flow through them. This phenomenon is known as discharge. Such a discharge heats up the air very much and it starts glowing and flashing. It is this flash that we see as lightning. Lightning also produces a sparking loud sound that we hear as thunder. Both lightning and thunder, therefore, occur together or simultaneously. As the charges accumulate in the clouds, the process of discharge also continues. Water conservation. We face acute water shortage during summer season. This is because the water table under the earth gets dried up. Municipal water supply gets limited to a couple of hours. This compels us to think in terms of conserving water and stopping its misuse. Storing of rainwater and recharging of groundwater, using techniques like water harvesting, should be carried out to ensure water availability round the year. Women queue up for drinking water. Rainwater harvesting. Collecting rainwater from the roofs of buildings and courtyards and storing it in underground tanks for later use is called rainwater harvesting. This water may contain soil from the roof and needs filtering before it is used. The rainwater, if not collected in this way, will escape as runoff water and flood the streets and spoil the roads. We can obtain this water whenever there is shortage of water. Rainwater harvesting. This water can be drawn to the overhead tank through pipes using electric motor. Keywords. Exhaustible resources. Resources that are in limited quantity and likely to be exhausted by us. Inexhaustible resources. Resources found in nature in unlimited quantity and not likely to be exhausted by us. Natural resources. Substances present in nature on earth that can be used by us. Non-renewable resources. Resources lacking the ability to recycle and replace themselves. Renewable resources. Resources that can recycle and replace themselves. Cloud. Mass of water droplets, ice crystals and dust particles floating in air. Evaporation. The process of conversion of liquid into vapor. Lightning. A flash of glow light produced by an electric discharge between clouds. Precipitation. The falling of water drops from clouds. Water vapor. A gaseous state of water formed above 100 degrees Celsius. Summary. Water is the commonmost substance found on the earth. Water is important for the sustenance of life. It makes 70% of human body. Water is an inexhaustible and renewable resource. Substances found in nature on earth that can be used by man are called natural resources. Water covers 4/5 of the earth's surface. Water is obtained from several sources. Rain is the chief source of water. Water exists in 3 states: solid, liquid and gases. Flood is caused due to excessive rainfall over a prolonged period. Drought is caused by absence of rain for a long period. Water cycle in nature is of great significance in replenishing the availability of water.